And you're joined on the line now by Olivier Guitta, who is a consultant in security and counter-terrorism. Olivier, good evening to you.
Good evening to you.
There's, as you will know, that earlier this month the country downgraded its terrorism threat level from substantial to severe. Can you explain what the difference is between these levels? Because I know we have low, moderate, substantial, severe, critical.
Yes, I think that's one thing that is difficult for people to comprehend when you talk about those levels. They have much to do with the ambience, with the intel, with the risk of a potential major terror attack, and not something that we've witnessed today on the London Bridge. And I think, to be fair to different governments, to have this scale is not making any service to either the public or the government or the police, because in a case like today, like your previous expert mentioned, it's extremely quasi-impossible for security services to find that person, that terrorist, before he strikes, except if there's human intelligence. And this is the crux of the issue that we have today in the Western world, is that we have been relying on electronic surveillance and electronic intelligence for the past 20 years, and that model doesn't work when it's not associated with the human intelligence. The way that we have seen in the past, most of the major attacks foiled in the UK were because people in the vicinity of the terrorists, whether it's family or friends, called up the security services and said, look, this guy is going to carry out an attack or he's up to no good. And that's what really saves us, is people within those circles to tell our services what to do. And look, it's extremely difficult in terms of the severe threat or for a government to just go through that scale. And I thought from the get-go, when that scale came up, that it didn't make any sense, because it's not a reflection in a way of what's happening, because you're asking me this question and the government is putting itself in that position. They can be criticized because they lowered that 2 weeks ago. But they couldn't have had intel on that person doing the attack today. It's much more about large groups, large attacks, and intelligence that they get and what's going on the geopolitical scene. So that's the reason, Islamic State being defeated. That's why they started looking at lowering the level of the threat. But all in all, the question remains the homegrown terrorism, the returning jihadist issue, and also potential large plots from either Al-Qaeda Central or Islamic State.
All right, that's Olivier Guitta. He's a consultant in security and counter-terrorism. Just to remind you that earlier this month we downgraded our terrorism threat level from substantial to severe. It's not a political decision. It's taken by the security services, and I suspect will they now upgrade back upwards. No, we're just about to go to the break. In fact, we'll go to the break now, but I'm going to bring Norman Brennan back into that conversation. And Matthew Thompson, LBC senior reporter, is still with us. You're listening to me here on LBC on Friday night. Just to confirm, one person, the terrorist suspect, was shot dead by the police. A number of people very seriously injured. We'll bring you the latest on that throughout the evening here on LBC. The time is now 7:30. Headlines, Holly Jones.